Okay, if you've been on Roblox for a while, or even if you just joined, you've probably seen a few games that pretty much lure you in with like a catchy advertisement or thumbnail, and when you actually go into the game, it's pretty much just hot, disgusting trash. Usually, hot, disgusting trash that doesn't resemble at all the place they were advertising. This type of advertising is called bait and switching. Though in this case, it could potentially be compared to catfishing because it's similar to how catfishing is like someone pretending to be someone else online. This is a game pretending to be a better game online. Or, well, on Roblox. I don't know. It's like game catfishing. I don't know. Either way, it's technically called bait and switching, and, well, yeah. And you might think why I'm making a video about this. Well, I'm using it. Well, this is mainly just to like explain what it is, and also like if there's like kids watching or parents who aren't really familiar with Roblox, it might help out a little. So yeah. Or if you're just like, or even if you're just an adult who doesn't have any kids and you want to know more about like Roblox culture, if you can, yeah, because in a way, let's be honest, like Roblox, it's almost like it has its own culture almost. I mean, then again, what do you expect when you put like a ton of kids and teens in one place? Uh, Basically, like, I mean, I feel like a lot of the YouTubers helped make this culture. Like, they kind of helped shape it a little, like with all the memes and such. I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting off track, so yeah, deceptive advertising and, well, bait and switching. Let's get into it. One of the most common types of bait and switching is false thumbnails. Whether it be for an advertisement or the actual thumbnail for the game itself, it will usually end up being like a it's usually either like one of those things that says, "OMG, he actually came to my game," and feature pictures of famous YouTubers like Dennis Daly or Flamingo or Poke or Creekcraft to try to make it seem like that YouTuber visited their game. And while some YouTubers like Flamingo purposely go to terribly made games, a majority of the games that use this actually don't. Like, Flamingo has never visited. So, yeah. And the thing is, like, and they sometimes often steal thumbnails from YouTubers. I mean, like, I've seen, like, a ton of games that have pretty much stolen thumbnails from YouTubers like Dennis Daly and DanTDM. Well, actually, I don't know if they stolen from DanTDM. But I've seen them steal from Dennis. I've seen them steal from Flamingo. I mean, seriously. I mean, I know that plagiarism is pretty common amongst children because oftentimes they haven't known better, but like they haven't learned what plagiarism is and how bad it is. But still, and either way, they often use this to make their games more popular. And keep in mind, these games, like most bait and switch games, have low ratings and are usually deleted by Roblox after a few days for being so misleading. So, yeah. And then we have misleading titles. Now, pretty much everyone knows about those games that have titles that are like fall 9,999,999 feet to your death when the experience is actually an obby or something. Yeah. I mean, seriously, you'd think that if they go through the trouble of like I don't know, uh, naming their game something like that, that they would at least have effort to at least use free models to copy the same type of game. Then there's also some builders who advertise their games through reverse psychology, often writing, "Don't play my game," as a way to lure people into playing it. Now, this isn't really necessarily problematic, especially if it's like a meme game, because, well, yeah. I mean, it's slightly misleading, but then again, that's kind of how marketing is in a way. Like, I mean, like, they aren't telling you it's something it's not, necessarily. They're pretty much just trying to drum up interest. That I can respect, unless it's a scam. Then, then it's best to take that a little literally. So, yeah. Uh, Next up, we have the game teleporters. This is pretty much, like, total catfishing. They end up basically you go into a game and then they end up teleporting you into a different game. These Now the game that you try to enter is usually a game that has like one player servers and use deceptive advertising like the methods I mentioned earlier to attract you in, and then when you're finally in, they pretty much switch you to something else. Like, for example, you could see a game that's like a water park, and then it directs you to a game called, I don't know, Piggy Granny, Piggy, 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 Piggy Granny, or something like that. Yeah, and keep in mind, the images and titles they use are often games that are like on the top rated section, like, say, uh, Jailbreak or Adopt Me, or heck, even this game that I'm currently in right now, Brookhaven. But the thing is, they you can kind of tell that they aren't the real thing because of the fact that they often have like quite the like to dislike ratio, and there's probably not going to be many real players playing it aside from like several bots who are in said one player servers. So yeah, and also these games happen to usually be scams. I mean, really. Although one of the main reasons why they're made is in case the either way, these games are usually made by alt accounts in case the person's main account gets banned or whatever. I don't know. And the Warp game gets deleted. I don't know. It's somewhat complicated. Although keep in mind that these teleporters sometimes can crash your game, especially when you're using Roblox's built-in recording features. Like I think there's like this. This isn't. I'm not using this. I'm using OBS at the moment, so thankfully I don't have to worry about this. Then again, there's not like there's any teleporters in Brookhaven, but still. Mm, yeah. You might also notice that some of these games, or at least back years ago, used to have a lot of likes compared to dislikes, despite the fact that the games were obviously not as advertised. The reason why was because people used to use things called like bots. Basically, they would automatically thumbs up a place to hit so it hits the top rated thing on the front page. Often these places that use like bots are the ones with the teleporters. So yeah, I mean it was pretty obvious to find them out uh, since you could tell like that a place would have more likes or dislikes than it did total visits, which was pretty obvious that it was a like bot. However, this no longer happens because at some point the Roblox web team adjusted the algorithm for calculating top rated, which caused this method to not get people's games onto the top rated, and it also ends up and they also make it so if you do this, you pretty much get permanently banned from Roblox. And also, they made it so you have to play a game to rate it, which is actually a really good idea because, well, yeah, that kind of circumvents that issue, but still. Another kind of frequent bait and switch tactic is false advertising or deceptive advertising. And it's not just the kind that I mentioned earlier, but you'll also see people claiming that that you'll get absurd amount of Robux from playing it. even though it's impossible and it's all just scams. And, as well as those advertisements that might say, I spent all my Robux on this ad, please join my game. Which uses reverse psychology to get you to join their group or game. And, well, yeah. And there's also games that not only use the likenesses of YouTubers, but also famous celebrities like, say, Nicki Minaj, or, well, actually, we're probably going to be seeing an uptick in Paris Hilton ads now that Paris Hilton is is now on Roblox and stuff. So, yeah. But still, either way, you see these advertisements all the time, and, well, yeah, they are annoying. I mean, not like annoying like YouTube ads, because they don't like interrupt anything, uh, but annoying in the way that like just kind of why would someone go through the trouble of making something so stupid? I don't know. One of Roblox's most infamous false advertisers would have to be a guy who went by the Roblox name Jared Valdez 4. Now, you probably have never heard of him. That's because he was mainly active in like 2013 or 2014 and stuff. Basically, what he would do is he would use advertisement. He generated over multiple accounts tens of millions of place visits, specifically by using false advertising and stealing other users' games in order to get users to play his. And he's stolen quite a few classic games too, like Paintball, The Undead Coming, and Welcome to the Town of Robloxia. Eventually, he ended up quitting Roblox and is now currently trying to make a legitimate game. I'm mainly just glad they ended up turning his they ended up turning his life around in a way. Uh, yeah. Either way, yeah. I mean, then again, I guess a lot of people do dumb things when they're younger. So yeah. Either way, he's. I mean, granted, his old accounts have all gotten terminated, and rightfully so. I mean, he still has an account that's still like okay, like it didn't get banned, but the thing is, like, honestly, I'm pretty sure that what he did with all his plagiarism and false advertising kind of was enough to get him banned several times over. Although the thing is, at least he's seen the error of his ways. Yeah, and Roblox is at least forgiving enough to allow him back on the platform, because other game companies like Epic Games are not really so quick to allow people they permanently banned back on their games and stuff. I mean, heck, I remember FaZe Jarvis, now, I don't watch FaZe Clan or anything, but I've heard of this. Basically, he was caught exploiting in Fortnite once. He got banned permanently, and 1 year later, he tries to play Fortnite on an alt account, and the moment that his account ends up that he ends up revealing the name of his account, Epic just straight up bans him again, even though he was playing legitimately. I mean, seriously, lighten up, Epic. I mean, seriously. He made one stupid mistake. I mean, even Roblox isn't this unforgiving. And keep in mind, as terrible as Roblox moderation is, at least they don't. And as much as. And keep in mind, that's not to say that they don't constantly try to ban certain problematic people. Like, I remember Julius Coles. I mean, he ended up getting banned so many times. Although, then again, keep in mind, he was actively saying terrible things about Roblox and the community. But still. Either way, getting off track again, let's get back on track. Now, there's a lot of ways to find, to pretty much identify one of these false games. Yeah, basically, if the thumbnail is not related to Roblox, or there's multiple thumbnails that aren't related to each other, or thumbnails stolen from a famous YouTuber, then that means that it's pretty much obviously it's pretty much obviously a false experience or game. I don't know. Roblox keeps trying to call them experiences, and honestly, I feel like it's just not working. I don't know. Anyway, and of course if there's a game with a disproportionate amount of dislikes, then it's most likely a misleading game. Yeah. Same thing if it has like a bunch of unrelated tags, like if you see like in the description like Piggy, Among Us, Baldi, Mario, Bendy, Granny, whatever, then it's more often than not like a bait and switch. Yeah. And if the title is like in all caps or something, it could potentially be a bait and switch, or even worse, a scam. Yeah. Especially if the game's title and thumbnail rapidly change, like those games that like where the thumbnail changes like constantly, then yeah, that's another sign. Yeah. And especially if there are those colorful obbies with morphs that spawn, 3D models of random characters in the sky, but still, like, that is. It's probably best to leave those. Because one thing that a lot of newer players don't know about this is that the entire obby is actually a free model. And if it promised you something at the end, it's not going to give it to you. It's likely just going to end up giving you absolutely nothing and just waste your time. Or worse, sometimes they actually try to scam you at the end of those long obbies. Though this is a lot less common. Or they pretty much just try to scam you through the game passes. That are, well, let's just say sometimes they give you the weapons that they tell you about, sometimes they don't, sometimes they even give you it, and then if you die, you lose them. So, yeah. And you can also, and also, if there's like a ton of repeated words on the title or description, like a game that's literally titled Obby, 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 or Piggy Granny, Piggy, 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 Piggy Granny, then it is likely not related to that sort of thing at all. Okay, well, the ones that are marked obby are usually obbies, but they're usually that same copy paste free model obby that I just mentioned. Yeah. There's also the fact that the thumbnails they use, if they decide to make their own rather than stealing them, then they usually use a ton of free models. Yeah, such as families standing next to exotic cars or something. Uh, Usually in front of a huge house. And also, if you see a game that says free Robux or reward or something, don't go in those. They're always scams. And if you do decide to go in anyway, then if it's a password scam, then I'd recommend instead of putting in your real password, just leave a little message for the scammer. Uh, I personally go into those games to type in the password box, stop scamming people, and get a real job, you lazy pile of diarrhea. And I just submit it until they throw me out. Yeah. Or then there's some of them that don't throw you out. In that case, just get an auto clicker and just keep spamming. Because that's pretty much the. Because the thing is, like, that's. Because the thing is, how those work is pretty much they end up sending the what do you call it? It's the basically they send the passwords that are inputted via webhook to a Discord server somewhere where they end up trying those passwords later, and if they get into your account, they often will. Well, they used to try to steal your limiteds, but now that they've made it so two-factor authentication is a thing, like if they can't steal your limiteds, they pretty much just use your account for scams. So and try to get you banned. So yeah. And also, if a game teleports you to an unrelated game, leave, because I already mentioned that before. And if it tells you there's a surprise at the end, it's usually either a very underwhelming surprise or a teleport to the bait and switchers other games in order to farm visits. And of course, then there's those ads. I think I mentioned these earlier, which is a game that says they played my game and has pictures of popular YouTubers. And a majority of the time, said YouTubers have never actually played that game. Back when tickets were a thing, the thing is, people used to use these methods like very frequently because the thing is, in order to get tickets, you'd have to have someone visit your place or game or whatever. And the thing is, you could, if you got enough of these tickets, you could end up getting getting like free stuff. Uh, I mean, I heard some people say it was great, but in reality, it was kind of underwhelming. Like, it's pretty much the equivalent of getting like 1 penny or whatever uh, for everyone who visited your game. I mean, if you had a popular game, you could get a ton of tickets, which is why people use these. But the thing is, since they discontinued tickets back in like 2016, these bait and switch scams have become less prominent in some ways. Nowadays, they use fake game passes to straight up scam Robux out of people. Nowadays, you'll find a whole ton of these clickbait experiences still. Yeah, in fact, you'd think that after they discontinued tickets that you'd see less of them. In reality, they actually pretty much really popped off pretty much from then onwards. Yeah, especially like scam groups that are, especially ones named after famous YouTubers, have pretty much created a ton of these false advertisements. Usually trying to appeal to younger Robloxians due to the fact that they are less likely to notice that something is a scam. Although I feel like Adopt Me is kind of changing that given how many kids are scamming each other, but still. Either way, the thing is, like, the free Robux scams are usually. Now, I mentioned the ones that pretty much have the password scams, but there's also ones that pretty much just show you a link to, like, a scam site. Never go to those, even if you're just going to meme around, because the thing is, oftentimes they'll sometimes try to take your Roblo security token, and they can get into your account, like, just like that. Like, they don't even need. I think it even bypasses two-factor authentication. So, if you do decide to meme around, maybe do it on a virtual machine with a web browser that you don't use for Roblox and, like, isn't synced. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, that's. And of course, then there's the password scams where you do a short obby and then they ask for your password. Or some of these games don't even have the obbies. Like the Adopt Me password scams that promise like free Adopt Me pets, usually from New Fissy. Still. And also another thing, these games that have like these types of scam games often have fake player lists of admins and famous players like say Flamingo or and stuff that usually has the like literal the Roblox official account, like Roblox is in the account, like uh, so chatting on it with fake players. And oftentimes they make it so you can't warn people that the games are scams by muting the chat. So if you try to say something like I don't know, mm, I don't know, like if you try to say something like "Hi," uh, like here you can tell that I can say it, but if I was in one of those scam games, it would have like on this it would say you are muted and cannot talk on this channel. Yeah, they mainly do that so you can't warn any of the noobs that are getting scammed that it's a scam. Yeah, it's pretty diabolical. Although Roblox, surprisingly, as terrible. Oh, oops. As terrible as their moderation is, they at least get rid of those games pretty quickly. Like usually within like about a day or two, they'll usually get rid of them. But still, it's it's really a problem. So yeah, and also I forgot to mention that not every one of those scam sites will steal your Robo security token, but either way, just don't go to them. They're extremely sketchy, and they'll usually end up either A, stealing your token, B, asking for your password to your Roblox account, or C, they'll end up sending you down a bottomless pit of surveys, which simultaneously collect all your personal information, install malware on your device, and give the scammer money all in one go. So, yeah. Uh, and also, one thing that I've kind of been confused about is like why these free Robux scams still like work. I mean, because the thing is, the goal of these scammers is to try to steal people's limiteds. But the thing is, and pretty much anything of value on their account. But the thing is, a majority of the time, the people who are going to these free Robux scams are just like people who don't have Robux and want Robux, i.e., people who wouldn't have anything of value on their account. So basically, they're trying to attract people. And the thing is, a majority of the time, the people who do have Robux are often, or at least I'd like to think, that they're smart enough not to fall for these. But then again, there are some kids whose parents do buy them Robux, or maybe they got a gift card for like their birthday or the holidays or something, and they actually want more Robux than that. I don't know. Basically, honestly, I feel like the audience doesn't fit the purpose, but then again, this is coming from someone who not only isn't a scammer, but detests Roblox scammers, because, well, basically anyone who scams is terrible, but scamming little kids, that is like the lowest of the low. I mean, that's why I do, or at least I used to, go around Adopt Me trying to stop kids from getting scammed. But the thing is, I'm currently on hiatus from that because I heard that people warning other people about trust trades is causing. The thing is, like the people who are warning these kids about the dangers of trust trading are getting banned just for saying the words trust trade because Roblox moderation does not know what context is. So, yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this somewhat long video of me explaining bait and switching on Roblox. If you did, please be sure to leave a like, and if you really, really enjoyed it, please consider subscribing and joining my Roblox group, link in the description below. And please comment on some of the crazy advertisements that or bait and switch games that you've seen on Roblox. Kind of curious as to what you guys have seen. The thing is, like, until recently, I used an ad blocker, so I didn't see too many of the advertisements. Uh, and even then, I don't really actively search out these types of games. And the thing is, like, I usually ignore most of these advertisements anyway. But still. Anyway, but still, please let me know if you've seen any, like, crazy or funny, weird, or just outright stupid advertisements for bait and switch games or actual bait and switch games themselves. Anyway, till next time, take care and have a good one.